Welcome. I've called this morning's practice Wake Up to Yoga, Wake Up to Life. And the postures are standing postures mostly, because I find that very useful in getting into my overall stiffness. I'm aware of tightness in my shoulders this morning and just a lack of strength in my legs. So that's why I've kind of put this practice together. I hope you'll enjoy it. I'll try and speak up because the microphone isn't very good on this laptop. It's more louder than I'm comfortable with, but I'd like you to really hear the instructions. Feel free to modify any movement that doesn't feel comfortable for you, or leave out anything that you're not comfortable with. And it would be a good idea to watch the whole video once, just see how it moves from one movement to the next, and then go back and try it yourself. So I'm going to move back on my mat and introduce a little bit of music. Nice gentle music. And I'll start by just lowering the camera so that I can get the right angle on it. Yeah. I always like to start my practice with gratitude. So I'm bringing the hands into prayer position and the legs are together, and I'm just resting into the heart, taking a few moments to feel gratitude for my own well-being. And now I'm setting an intention for the day. So I invite you to do the same. Now just resting my left hand on the belly, finding my breath, releasing the legs hip width apart so I'm more comfortable in my stance. And then taking that right arm up overhead, closing my eyes just so that I can really awaken that side of the body. And a nice big yawn. Feeling your way right down to the tips of the fingers, the tips of the toes. Really being in that side of the body this morning. And then slowly releasing the right hand back to the tummy area, connecting to the breath, and giving that same attention to your left side. Breathing, feeling, right down to the tips of the toes, right up to the fingertips. A nice big yawn. And then slowly releasing. I'm just taking my legs a little bit wider apart, and without looking down, just getting a sense of the distance that the feet are apart. And trusting that I can bring my hands up the same distance as my feet are apart. It's lovely to do this from the inside rather than checking externally. And I'm yawning from the left foot right up to the fingertips of the right hand. Across my body. Awakening up the trunk of my body. And then from the right foot, I'm yawning my way up to the fingertips of the left hand. Oh. And from there, I'm just resting my hands, interlacing my fingers and resting those hands at the back of my head so that I can open up the shoulders and chest area. Turning to the right, coming back on an out breath, turning to the left, and coming back on an out breath. Just bringing the arms out to the sides, turning the palms of the hands upwards, and getting that feeling that my body is as wide as it is long, entering into the whole length and breadth of the body. And from there, turning the palms downwards to take my hands behind me, interlacing the fingers, lifting those shoulders up and rolling them back. Lifting the chest without pushing into the lower back. And bending those knees to come forward and to take the arms higher and higher. Oh, it's a lovely stretch. And slowly coming back. This is a very gentle, easy set of movements. Easy in the sense that if you've got injuries or tight hips, tight shoulders, you can probably do them, but it still is quite strong. It's a very good strengthening set of movements that I've come across. So I'm bringing the right foot forward and simply stepping back the left foot with an awareness of bringing that foot back hip width distance from the right foot. Now I'm taking a moment or two just to get steady in the legs, lifting the toes, coming down into the heels, pressing that back heel into the ground and letting the front knee bend. So looking for those little micro movements that really help to ground me, settle down into my legs. Now, the first movement is breathing in, opening the heart to life. The front knee is bent. And now the front knee straightens as I bring the arms down and turn the palms outwards. Very simple, but effective. I can really feel this in the shoulders. It also brings you into your breath, opening up the top of the lungs. Breathing in. And what makes it contemporary is the flow, continuous flowing movement. Good. Now I'm just going to deepen that stretch, bending the front knee, drawing the arms upwards. I'm going to stay for a few breaths as I open more and more to life. And releasing. Now I'm bringing my right arm on the inside of the right leg, turning towards the left, taking that left arm up towards the ceiling, releasing the tightness in the shoulder, and coming back to rest that hand on my back, straightening the front leg. So I'll just do that a couple of times, breathing in as I come up, breathing out as I release forward. If it's too much for the neck to bring the head up, just let it hang all the time forward and down. So I've done the preparation now I need for triangle. This is a modified triangle. I'm bringing myself into the full pose, taking that arm upwards and straightening that front leg. Breath. And releasing. And just cross the wrists, bend the front knee and let go. It's amazing how much work this is for the legs. I can really feel it in my legs. So I'm going into reverse triangle, resting the left arm onto the right leg with the right knee bent, taking that right arm up towards the ceiling. Now I find this very difficult. This is my weaker side. This is the side I have the auxiliary clearance on. and that shoulder and arm are working hard. So I do that a couple of times, bringing that arm up towards the ceiling and releasing it back onto my back as I straighten the leg. Finding that my breath is helping me just go that little bit further. Then I could go otherwise. Good, now this time I'm going into the full pose. Well, it's the full modified pose. Taking that right arm up towards the ceiling, turning and straightening the legs. I'm not talking so much because it's difficult. Good. And resting. I hope it looks easier than it is. Take the legs wide apart, open out those arms. You can really feel the difference now from one side to the other, and I know I need to repeat it on the other side. Taking those arms upwards and releasing forward to the ground. Rest your hands on the mat and see if you might be able to take the legs just that little bit further apart, and maybe release the head towards the mat, and if so you could then rest the hands at the ankles. Just go at your own pace as far as your body is comfortable with this morning. Walking the feet inwards. I'm resting my upper body onto the lower, letting go of the tightness in the shoulders. And now I'm going to peel up level by level. Good. Now I need to do this on the other side. So I'm taking my left foot forward and just getting a sense of the distance that I need to go back with that right leg. The toes of the right foot are turned outwards. The left knee bends. Just getting steady in my legs. So breath in, opening up to life. Breath out, the front leg straightens, and I'm just feeling that turn in my shoulders. Let the breath carry you. And I just find naturally I go further into the stretch with each movement. Now I'm going into the posture more fully. This is a variation of warrior. So the front knee bends. I'm taking my strength from the back of the body, opening the heart to life. And resting. So with Trikonasana, the preparation, the left hand is on the inside of the left leg, the front knee bends, and the right arm comes up towards the ceiling, and already it's feeling easier. Repetition really makes it easier. So bending that front knee on the in-breath and straightening it on the out-breath. Now I'm going into the modified posture, bending that front knee, sliding that arm down, the inside of the left leg, and the right arm comes up towards the ceiling, and slowly I straighten both legs. And release. It challenges your feet a lot in this to keep the steadiness. I find that quite difficult in the feet to be steady. So I'm working on that. Now the right arm is on the outside of the left leg this time, and the left hand comes up towards the ceiling and releases back onto the back as I straighten the front leg. So I just let that flow. And now I'm going into the fuller movement, bending that front knee, letting this arm slide down. I'm also slightly pushing the arm against the outside of the leg, taking that left arm up and straightening. Good. Now, I'd like to come into a forward bend again. So this time I'm taking my hands behind my back. You can either clasp them, or if you're flexible enough, bring them into prayer position behind the back. Pressing those hands into my lower back to give support. Just getting nice and steady in my feet and legs. And then opening the heart again, rolling those shoulders back. And now, into the forward bend. Releasing the arms, placing the hands on the ground to give me support, to bring the legs inwards. Heel toe, and this time the feet are together. The upper body rests towards the lower. And I'm coming into chair pose now. So I'm going to really bring openness to each of the shoulders as I bring the arms upwards, sitting down into an imaginary chair, opening the heart, breath. And slowly coming back up. So now I'm ready for sitting poses. I hope you've enjoyed that introduction to the practice, and I'm going to leave it at that.